Leadership comes at a cost. Sometimes the cost is your reputation. Sometimes it's your friends. Sometimes it's your family. Sometimes it's the material. Sometimes it is your life. Leadership is not easy. Not everyone can take the mantle of leadership. But if you do and you are, then you know the burden of leadership. Recently, just a few short days ago, our 45th president had an assassination attempt on his life. That assassination attempt resulted, thank God, in his life being spared only by a few centimeters. Had he turned his head slightly, he may not be with us today. An assassin's bullet attempted to extinguish his life. Why? Because of his leadership, what he represents, what he says, his impact. And though it is a heinous act and has no place in our democracy, has no place in our world, it still is among us. People who don't like to hear what you have to say, people who don't want to go the direction that you are going in, and people who desire to perhaps see you eliminated from the leadership field. Now, perhaps it's not so serious with you and with me, perhaps because we are not so relevant in the grand scheme of society and culture and the nation. It doesn't affect us in the kind of ways that it did John F. Kennedy, who was tragically shot, or Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose life was snuffed out against him, and many, many others, Mahatma Gandhi, and others who have had their lives taken from them because of their values, because of their beliefs, because of their leadership. And although it may not be such a journey for you and for me, it may be at some point, there may be a stance that you take, that I take, that calls you to have an ideal that perhaps could cost any one of us our lives. Think of the 1940s in Germany and those who stood up against the Nazi regime. Many in that part of the world lost their lives, and elsewhere as well. That could happen anywhere. It can happen at any time. We know from history that there is no point to where safety can be guaranteed, where peace is always guaranteed. However, friend, sometimes we have to stand up for what we believe in, no matter what the cost. Of course, we are judicious. Of course, we are responsible and we think it through. But there's no more important stance for a leader than to stand behind what we believe to be true. And I pray that each one of us believes the truth in terms of seeking life, seeking health, seeking the well-being of others, even if they disagree with us. What happened just the other day is the act of a desperate mindset that cannot seem to find a way other than violence and hatred. That way doesn't work. It doesn't help us to get through. It doesn't help us to have dialogue. What we so desperately need in this nation, in this world, we need to be able to have a conversation that is respectful. Though we may differ, we can differ vigorously, we can differ with passion, but we must never differ in such a way that causes others harm. We must do it in a nonviolent way. We must share and exchange our ideas, not be afraid to do so in the public discourse. We must not be afraid to share our values. I believe in your First Amendment right. I believe in mine, but I believe there's a responsibility that comes alongside of that. And so that responsibility says, Nate, speak with care, speak with decorum, speak with compassion, speak with truth, but also listen. Perhaps my views are not all of the best views. Perhaps even my views can be progressed. Perhaps my views can grow through interaction with others. I'm not afraid of that. I hope you're not afraid of that either. What have we learned from this assassination attempt on President Trump? Well, I've learned that leadership can come with a very high cost. Leadership can come with the potential for loss, not only of life, but of the freedom that we have in this nation. And I pray that freedom is never extinguished. I pray that we would no longer speak hatred, speak malice, speak in a way that causes people to desire to murder someone for standing up for their beliefs in this nation. You say, Nate, what about those who are speaking hate themselves? Do they have a right to speak hate? They do. However, that right also comes with consequences. And those consequences can be grave, as you can see in our nation today. So as leaders, as people who have mouths, let us be tempered in how we speak and what we say. Let us do it with truly desiring to find the best solutions for our problems together in a way that has emotional maturity and intelligence, a way that guides us to a better future state together, a way that perhaps doesn't incite violence toward our fellow human being. And it gets me thinking about the leadership. What is the leadership's role? Think about leaders. Why are leaders important? Many reasons. They guide, they inspire, they prepare. I would tell you this, in my opinion, one of the most important roles of a leader is to fight for you on your behalf, to act as a liberator, to help liberate you from perhaps some kind of trouble or bondage that you face in your own journey, in your own walk, to speak on your behalf, to say and to do what you desire, to go in the direction. And it takes courage, takes tremendous amount of courage, whether it be leadership in your business, leadership in your family, leadership in your community. It takes a tremendous amount of bravery and courage to stand for what you believe, to walk with integrity, to make the kind of sacrifices that are necessary to see your ideas and your ideals through. But it's not something that is without merit or in vanity, because your leadership is a beacon. Your leadership stands as a model for others to follow. Indeed, it does inspire. Indeed, it does help to galvanize those. Indeed, it makes a difference. So wherever you are, whatever you do as a leader, let this moment help to remind you of your importance. You are important in this journey of leadership. You are important every single moment of the day. We need strong leaders who will illuminate a better future state, eliminate pathways that do not lead us to where we truly desire to go, to give us the courage to continue to fight the good fight for freedom, for security, for those whom we love and we desire to protect. May we never grow weary in doing good, for on that day in the future we will reap a harvest if we simply do not give up.